Breaking. Caitlin Clark just screamed in a referee's face on national TV, and the internet cannot stop talking about it. You saw the clip. Everybody saw the clip. Caitlin Clark, arms flailing, walking straight up into an official's face, letting her have it with the cameras rolling. And by the time this video's over, you're going to understand exactly why this moment matters way more than one bad call in one regular season game. Because this isn't just about a foul. This is about a countdown clock that's ticking on Caitlin Clark's entire season. Stick with me, because before we get to what could actually cost Clark games down the stretch, you need to understand how we got here. It's Wednesday night, July 15th, Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Fever hosting the Golden State Valkyries. Clark drives to the basket, goes up for a layup, and Valkyries center Kaya Stokes meets her at the rim. Contact. Clark goes down hard. No whistle. She gets up limping, favoring her leg, clearly in pain. And if you've followed Clark's career even a little bit, you know exactly what's going through her head in that moment, because this isn't the first time her body has taken a beating with no call to show for it. Remember, this same Fever team already sent a formal letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert about rough physical play against Clark. A letter signed by 11 actual lawmakers. That's not fan outrage. That's the United States Congress getting involved. So when Clark gets hit again, and nothing gets called, she's not just annoyed about one play, she's carrying the weight of an entire season of hits that didn't get whistled. Here's the thing that makes this so much bigger than basketball. Clark is coming off a 2-game absence with a back injury. She missed most of last season, her rookie year, with a string of leg and lower body injuries that never seemed to end. Fever fans watched her limp through 2025, and they are terrified of watching it happen again. So every single no call this season isn't just a missed whistle. It's a trigger. It's a reminder of everything that already went wrong once. Now, here's where it gets worse. A few possessions later, Aaliyah Boston gets called for what a lot of people are calling a ticky-tack foul. A call so soft it barely deserved a whistle. And that's the moment Clark loses it. She turns, she walks straight at referee Gerda Gatling, and she unloads. Cameras couldn't catch the audio clean, but you didn't need audio. Anyone who can read lips could tell exactly what was happening. And multiple outlets later confirmed part of what she said in the moment. Clark reportedly shouted at the official, "Give me a effing call. I got fouled 5 times. 5 times. That's not a throwaway line. That's a player who feels like she has been hit over and over all game long with nothing to show for it, finally snapping in front of a national TV audience. And get this, she didn't even get a technical foul for it. Raise the stakes with me here for a second. This isn't just about whether one referee made the right decision in one moment. This is about the entire credibility of WNBA officiating and how it treats its biggest star. Because depending on who you ask, this moment proves one of 2 totally opposite things, and both sides are furious. Before we get into who's actually taking sides here, drop a comment and tell me straight up, do you think Caitlin Clark deserved a technical foul for that outburst? Or was the no call that started it all the real problem here? I want to see where this comment section lands. Now here's the second complication. And this one's messier than the play itself, because instead of everyone rallying around Clark for getting hurt on a no call, a chunk of the sports media turned around and did the opposite. They came after her. Carrie Champion, on her own podcast, went off. She said watching Clark get away with that kind of outburst without a technical annoys her to no end. She flat out said the league is being too precious with Clark, coddling her, giving her a level of leeway no other player gets. And she didn't stop there. She said watching how Clark behaves on the court is making her like Clark less and less. So think about the position Clark is in right now. On one side, you've got people saying the refs are letting her get physically abused on the court without protection. On the other side, you've got people saying the refs are protecting her too much and letting her get away with disrespecting officials. She is being attacked from both directions at the exact same time, for the exact same play. That is an impossible spot for any 24-year-old athlete to be in, let alone one who is already the most watched, most talked about, most scrutinized player in the entire league. So what did Clark actually say when reporters asked her about it after the game? This is the part that's going to surprise you, because she didn't play the victim. And she didn't back down either. She explained exactly why she was that upset. She said Stokes hit her right in the quad, that it hurts, and that a referee can't miss contact like that. She said she now has to play through a contusion for the rest of the game because of it, and when asked whether officials gave her an explanation afterward, she said she was told she initiated the contact herself. Her response was simple: "You can't knee me in the leg. You can't knock me over." No excuses, no apology tour, just a direct explanation of why she reacted the way she did. And for a lot of her fans, that response hit different, because it wasn't a superstar demanding special treatment. It was a competitor saying, "I got hurt, I got blamed for it, and I'm allowed to be upset about that." Now here's where this whole story connects to something way bigger than one game. Something that's actually hanging over Clark's entire rest of the season. Caitlin Clark now has 5 technical fouls this season. 5. In the WNBA, once a player hits 8 technicals, that's an automatic 1-game suspension. And after that, every 2 more technicals costs another game. The Fever are fighting for their playoff position right now. They cannot afford to lose their franchise player to a suspension over something as avoidable as blowing up at a referee, no matter how justified the frustration is. So, every single one of these outbursts isn't just a viral moment anymore. It's a countdown. 3 more technicals and Caitlin Clark could be forced to sit out a game during a playoff push, not because of an injury, not because of a suspension for anything serious, but because officials keep missing calls, and she keeps reacting exactly how any competitor would react. Picture that. Picture the Fever needing her in a must-win game in September, and she's sitting in street clothes because of technicals that started with plays like this one. That's the real stakes here. This isn't just about one ref, one no-call, one outburst. This is about whether Caitlin Clark makes it through the rest of this season on the court, healthy and available, or whether the accumulation of missed calls and mounting frustration ends up costing her and her team exactly when it matters most. Here's some good news in the middle of all this tension though. Despite everything, despite the leg contusion, despite the no call, despite screaming at an official, Clark stayed in the game. She wasn't seriously hurt. She kept playing, and just this week, in the middle of all this controversy, Clark was named a starter for the WNBA All-Star Game. Think about that timing. In the same stretch where critics are calling her entitled and coddled, the league and the fans turned around and voted her in as a starter for the biggest showcase of the year. That's not nothing. That's the loudest possible answer to anyone saying she doesn't deserve the spotlight she's getting. And here's the moment that I think says everything about where Caitlin Clark's head is at right now. Before this game even started, she was asked directly about dealing with non-stop criticism, non-stop attention, people loving her, and people hating her in equal measure. And her answer wasn't defensive. It wasn't scripted. She said, "There's gonna be people that love you and people that hate you, and that probably means you're doing something right." She said none of that really affects her. Read that again. In the same week she's getting ripped apart by commentators, in the same week she's one technical away from real trouble, in the same week she's playing through a leg injury, Clark's response is basically, "The noise means I'm doing something right." That's not a superstar cracking under pressure. That's a competitor who has decided the outrage is just proof she matters. So, here's what I want to know from you. Do you think the WNBA needs to crack down harder on physical play against Clark? Or do you think Clark needs to clean up how she talks to officials before this costs her a real suspension down the stretch? Tell me in the comments who you think is really at fault here, because I want to know exactly where you stand.